I want to be around women who have dreams they want to accomplish. They have a positive outlook on life. They love themselves, and that's evident in the way they take care of themselves. That doesn't mean they're a bodybuilding athlete. It doesn't mean that they're like totally into fitness. It just means that they are a strong presence in the world, bringing their feminine power to the fore and making their brilliance known. And only women that feel well in their bodies can do this. If you don't feel well, and we see it every day, women our age shuffling along the street with canes, or they're so overweight they can barely walk and they have a hard time breathing. And it's painful to see because it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. But so many accept, oh, well, that's just the way it is. And then the medical profession has a bias against women in menopause, thinking that because they never see fit women post-menopause, we don't go to the doctor, except for normal checkups. Mostly they see sick women, 50 plus, women who are struggling with high blood pressure and diabetes and, breathing problems and all the things that being overweight bring. And you can't fix it by just saying, go on a diet or change your eating and move more. You can't just give that formula and expect it to work. It doesn't work. We know it doesn't work because we've all tried it a million times. I've been getting questions on Instagram. One woman said, well, everyone thinks macros are the magic pill. It's not the magic pill. It's one approach to nutrition that involves knowing what you eat, why you eat it, and when you eat it being very important. It's still about food. It's still about being very conscious about what you put in your body. But I got a message saying, well, I've been doing macros and I haven't seen any results. And I just think that attitude or perspective is so limited. I actually asked her, but what about mindset? What about mindset? So if the center of your being is you as soul, let's look at it this way. You as soul, as a spiritual being that's connected to the divine, in whatever way you see that, there is no right way or wrong way about that. Your way is the right way. Whatever you believe is truth. And no one should ever try and convince you that their way is truth, when in your heart, as soul, as a spiritual being, your own unique divine connection to the creator. And however you see that, whatever spiritual master you follow, whether it's, Jesus in Christianity or, whatever, they're all valid and they're all, worthy. And it's whatever you believe that matters. So from the center of you as soul, we are wrapped with a mind. It's like you could call it a mental body, and it acts like a computer. It stores information. It stores memories. It stores feelings. It stores, day-to-day stuff. It's not your being. Your being is you, your high self, your eternal, ageless soul. And the mental body is how we connect with the outer world. And then, of course, our physical body is made out of physical matter, and it's animated by soul. So if we want to change and transform our lives, it's just about the physical matter, trying to manipulate that. That takes willpower. It takes frustration. It takes a temporary Band-Aid and putting it on a problem. It doesn't solve it. But if we go deep inside, if we really, from the center of soul, know what we want. We have clarity and we know that's what we want. You have a completely different outcome. Meanwhile, you got to clean up those files in your mind, your mental. We call it mindset. And the mindset is really the lens through which you look at the world. And how do you look at the world? It comes, when you look at the world from a soul viewpoint, there's no good or bad. There's no hot and cold. It's like it's an objective observance and a knowing. You just know. Your intuition and your wisdom lives there. But we get into the mental mind part and we start judging and compartmentalizing. And I'll give you an example. So I was interviewed on a podcast. This wonderful woman, Hack My Age is the name of her podcast. And her name is Zora. And she really deals with menopausal issues. And she asked me, because a lot of women have a really hard time with menopause. We know what all the symptoms are, and many of you have experienced them, and you might even be suffering from them right now. So she wanted to know how I handled menopause. And I told her I went into menopause around 42 or 44, and I was living in the Midwest at the time with my husband, and winters there get really cold, could be 10 degrees below zero Fahrenheit. And I'd get a hot flash in the car and I'd roll down all the windows and just be like, oh my God. And yeah, I had hot flashes and mood swings. However, when you've been sawed open at your chest bone and violated by a heart surgeon, and it is a violation, even though they're saving your life, your body doesn't know that. Your body feels violated in any kind of surgery. So they saw open your breastbone, they open you up, another human being handles your heart. And I wasn't told this, but I was depressed for 2 years after that, and I didn't know why. No one warned me because I was so young when I had the bypass. I don't know, maybe they figured a 48-year-old wouldn't have the same experience. But anyway, when you've had that done, and I also have incisions in my abdomen where they put in the transplanted organs. When you've had those kinds of things, E. coli sepsis, where I almost died at age 27, what's a hot flash? No big deal. No big deal. And that's not to minimize what other women experience. They don't have anything to gauge that against. If you've been healthy all your life, any little blip on the screen of health is going to be a major thing for you. And I totally understand that. So what you could do is use the hard things you're going through as your measuring stick for what's coming down the pike, because life is going to throw us curveballs all the time. And I know it's a cliche, but hard things actually do build character, and they build a sense of who you really are, and they get you more in touch with who you are as a spiritual being, as your high self, because sometimes that's all we can rely on. And that's why meditation in all its different forms becomes so valuable, where you can just get quiet and still and go within and find that peace. And that tends to reverberate out into the rest of your life. So the way we've approached health and our ideas about how we should look, and being in a youth culture, and being women who are really oppressed in so many different ways all over the world. It looks different in every country, but it's there. We have a lot to work against. But if you have clarity and you accept that you have superpowers and you can create a life that you love, and a body that you love, and a body that you're confident in, it's a mindset shift. It's changing the lens of that mindset that says, I can't, I'll never be able to, I shouldn't, I haven't. forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. And once you get on this journey, and I'm telling you, it's not just a fitness journey, it's a spiritual journey. To me, a fitness journey is a spiritual journey, because women, we are in process all the time in some way in our lives. We are in process all the time. We're processing going through menopause. We're processing empty nesting. We might be processing divorce. We might be processing losing parents, and then also taking care of those parents until, it's their time to pass on. So we're always in process. And that means we're in a growth mindset, right? We're always looking for the next step, what we can do better. And it usually has to do with someone else. It has to do with elevating somebody else's life experience, because that's the way women are. We're nurturers. We're generous. We give from our heart so freely. And so if you've got that growth mindset and you turn it on yourself, and you turn that light of love on making your life the best it can be, it is going to start with, what do I eat? How do I move? But it's also going to start with mindset. What can I change there? What can I make better? How can I expand? It's never going to work if you just work on the physical matter, which is the body. You've got to work on the spiritual matter too. And that's where our powerhouse and our superpowers come from. And you can call it whatever you want. And I know there's a lot of, sources out there that talk about this, and you should be given the freedom to look at that and understand it in your own way, and have no one tell you their way is the right way.